Mercantilism, what is it? That's what we're talking about today. Let's go. All right, the first thing I want you guys all to understand is that this is a very simplified version of what mercantilism. It's a basics, what you need to know kind of thing. If you want a more thorough explanation, you can go and listen to episodes 106 and 107 of the Lyndeurozone Euro Simplified Podcast, which you can get on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for free. All right, so let's get into it. Mercantilism, it is an economic ideology that overtook Europe in the 1400s and 1500s, and it's really going to continue on through the 1700s until capitalism and capitalist ideology replaces it. But what you need to understand right now is what we're looking at in the age of exploration. Now, we got to remember that the monarchs of Europe have been bringing about this great centralization of their government and trying to weaken the nobles and take the church out of their government and really centralize their government and build professional standing armies. This took a lot of money to do. Where's that money going to come from? That new money was going to come from the wealth and riches that were discovered because of exploration. The New World, which we see right here. But that world wanted it. And so what's going to happen is we're going to see this ideology develop that is actually wrong, it's actually flawed, but this is what Europeans thought, this is what European governments thought, this is what European monarchs thought. They thought that since the whole world had now been explored and now had been discovered, that there was no new riches to find out in the world, that there was a fixed amount of wealth in the world, kind of like there is a fixed amount of candy in a pinata. And if you think about that, that's a really good analogy for the mindset that is what is happening in Europe at this time. Just like when the pinata cracks open, when the little kids are beating that thing, kind of an odd game, but they're beating that animal and then the candy falls out. And when the candy falls out, what do the kids do? They go scramble for it. They start beating each other up, start ripping it out of each other's hands. Exact same thing with the monarchs of Europe, because the main tenet of mercantilism is this. There is a fixed amount of wealth in the world, and every king, every monarch, every centralized government needs that wealth in order to centralize. They need that wealth in order to develop their economy and their markets, and they need that wealth to develop their professional standing armies. So for now, what is it that you need to know? Mercantilism is an economic idea that is flawed. We now know it's wrong, but you do need to know it because you need to understand why these governments were taking the actions that they were taking. It's this economic idea that there's a fixed amount of wealth in the world and everybody needed to go grab that wealth. Mercantilism is going to fuel so much that is going to happen in Europe, and some of it's good. I mean, the economy of Europe is going to grow. We're going to see the rise of a middle class because of mercantilist ideology. But one of the bad things that's going to happen is we are going to see the destruction of the populations in the New World, and then the destruction of the populations in the New World will be replaced with African slavery, and that is also the other side of mercantilism. Mercantilism fueled so much of what was going on. Again, you can get a much thorough explanation with episodes 106 and 107 of the Lyndeurozone Euro Simplified Podcast. All right, see you next time.